Nick Chubb likely coming back. Do you think he makes a difference? And are there things you mentioned? You saw some things. What are some things you think they can build on? And I'll let you go after this. But Chubb back, and is there things they can build on offensively?
Well, I mean, if Nick is Nick, yeah, I mean, he helps create runs that aren't normally there. I mean, he's a two beat ahead runner. He can see things that most people don't process out in real time. He obviously breaks tackles. He obviously has really, really ridiculous change of pace stuff that makes it hard to square him up, that makes him a special runner. But it's what are what are you getting? And leaning into like modern day football saying, oh, we have our running back just doesn't feel right for believing that your offense is going to change. I do expect him to be on a pitch count. I don't think he's going to go out there and get 20 carries in the game, but his presence is uplifting. And we're talking about the idea of benching a quarterback to try to change the vibe, the presence, the belief. Nick is like Miles in the sense that, when your chips are down and when the odds are stacked against you, if you have one of these guys, you like one of them to be your quarterback, but that doesn't always happen for every franchise, or, we wouldn't see the desperation there. But ask Bills fans or Chiefs fans or Ravens fans, right? Like we have a guy who we think, no matter what the situation, the play call, whatever, can find an answer. He's a solution finder. He uplifts everybody. We might have the odds stacked against us. They might have the perfect defensive play call, but it doesn't matter because we have our guy and he can find something. Nick is that guy for the offense over the years where, we don't necessarily think we can win, but anything can happen. Nick can have one of those days, or Nick can have one of those runs here in this big moment that puts the Browns in the right position to win this football game. And he is that belief creator, I think is the way to put it. And I think Miles is quite clearly that on defense, where it's like, we've had a really bad defensive day. We just need one stop. He can make that sack. He can make that strip sack. He can block that field. He does those special things. Nick is that for the offense. We'll see if that rejuvenates them a little bit. I don't expect things to feel holistically different in this upcoming game, largely because I think their run game stuff will fit from under center what Nick is good at, and they'll do a little bit of the RPO stuff with him in the backfield. But it comes down to whether he uplifts the presence of everybody. And I think that the way he talked in his letter today, he is, there's two ways of looking at leadership. I think there's like a thermostat and a thermometer leader, right? Like I think thermometer leaders are when the temperature's high, they're great leaders. When things are good, they're great, right? They're the best leader around. But when the chips are down, they're not very good at leadership. Then I consider guys who are thermostat people who I think have the ability to control the temperature around them. They raise people up around them. They lift the volume, they lift the temperature in a unique way. And I consider Nick, although quiet, to be one of those thermostat type leaders who lift people around him. So we'll see if his presence alone has an uplifting feeling around him because, listen, they need it. I think it's got a chance to, even with Nick's band aid like presence in the stadium, which will be cool and fun and very unique. If Deshaun is bad, it can get really hostile in there. So, very interested to see Nick back and healthy and happy, and like that's so cool in so many different ways. But um, we'll be interested to see in how they play and the belief in which they play and whether they actually play like their backs are against the wall. Because I think we could all agree their backs are so far against the wall they might even be glued to it at this point.